We've seen this countless times. You're at the Santiago Bernabeu, surrounded by thousands of passionate fans. The air's electric. Real Madrid's about to play a crucial match. As the players walk out, your eyes are drawn to a slight figure with floppy hair. That's Luka Modrić, the midfield maestro who's been pulling the strings for Real Madrid for over a decade. But here's a thought that might make Madridistas break out in a cold sweat. What if Modrić had never joined Real Madrid? Would the trophy cabinet at the Bernabeu be as stuffed as it is now? It's a question that's got football fans and pundits alike scratching their heads. Let's rewind a bit, take a look at how this Croatian wonder ended up in the famous white shirt. From humble beginnings to the world stage. Modric's story reads like something out of a Hollywood script. Born in 1985 in Zadar, Croatia, he grew up during the Croatian War of Independence. Now, most kids in that situation might have given up on their dreams, but not our Luka. He clung on to football like a lifeline, kicking a ball around whenever he could. Fast forward a few years, and Modrić is tearing it up for Dinamo Zagreb. His dribbling ability was so good, you'd think the ball was attached to his foot by an invisible string. It wasn't long before bigger clubs started sniffing around. In 2008, Tottenham Hotspur came calling, and boy did Modrić answer. In the rough and tumble of the English Premier League, he didn't just survive, he thrived. He was like a chess grandmaster in a sea of checkers players, always 2 moves ahead of everyone else. But Real Madrid, they were watching, and they liked what they saw. The big move. In 2012, Real Madrid decided they'd seen enough. They slapped £30 million on the table and said, "He's ours." Now, £30 million might sound like a lot to you and me, but in the crazy world of football transfers, it was a bargain. Heck, these days you'd be lucky to get a decent fullback for that kind of money. But not everyone was convinced. Some folks looked at Modrić, all 5 feet 8 inches of him, and thought, he'll get eaten alive in La Liga. The Spanish media can be brutal, and they didn't pull any punches. After a slow start, they even labeled him the worst signing of the season. Ouch! But Modrić, he just put his head down and got to work. By the end of that first season, he wasn't just part of the team. He was running the show. Modric's magic moments. Now, let's talk about some of the times Modrić really showed his class. Buckle up, because this is where it gets good. Remember the 2014 Champions League final? Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid? The big one? Real are 1-0 down, time's running out. Then in the 93rd minute, Modrić swings in a corner. Sergio Ramos rises like a salmon and boom! 1-1. Real go on to win 4-1 in extra time. Without Modric's perfect delivery, La Decima might never have happened. Or how about that El Clasico in December 2017? Playing at the Camp Nou in Barcelona's backyard is never easy. But Modrić made it look like a walk in the park. He was everywhere, keeping the ball when Barca players were snapping at their heels, setting up chances left, right, and center. Real won 3-0. And Modrić? He was the puppet master pulling all the strings. And we can't forget the 2018 Champions League semi-final against Bayern Munich. Over 2 legs, Modrić was like a one-man midfield. He was breaking up Bayern attacks, launching counters, and generally running the show. Real made it to another final, and a lot of that was down to Modric's brilliance. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what about his performances for Croatia? Well, let me tell you about the 2018 World Cup semi-final against England. Modrić wasn't just good, he was otherworldly. He ran the game, dragging Croatia back from a goal down to win in extra time. He led his country to their first ever World Cup final. Not bad for a lad from Zadar, eh? Even as he's gotten older, Modric's still got it. In 2022, at the ripe old age of 36, he was still running rings around players a decade younger than him. That outside of the boot assist for Benzema against PSG? Pure magic! The kind of stuff that makes you fall in love with football all over again. A trophy haul to make your eyes water. Since joining Real Madrid, Modrić has won more trophies than most players dream of in their entire careers. We're talking 5 Champions League titles, 4 FIFA Club World Cups, 3 UEFA Super Cups, 3 La Liga titles, and 2 Copa del Rey trophies. That's not just impressive, it's downright ridiculous. But perhaps his crowning glory came in 2018 when he won the Ballon d'Or. Now, for a decade, that award had been a two-horse race between Messi and Ronaldo. For Modrić to break that stranglehold, it just shows how special he is. The big question, what if? So here's where we circle back to our original question. Would Real Madrid have had the same success without Modrić? It's a tough one to answer. Real Madrid is a massive club with deep pockets. If they hadn't signed Modrić, they would have brought in someone else. But finding another Modrić? That's like trying to find a needle in a haystack while blindfolded. Without Modrić, Real might have struggled to control games the way they have. His ability to dictate tempo, to keep the ball under pressure, to pick out that killer pass, it's been crucial to their success. Those 3 consecutive Champions League titles from 2016 to 2018, they might not have happened without Modrić pulling the strings in midfield. In La Liga, where teams often park the bus against Real, Modric's ability to unlock stubborn defenses has been vital. Without him, Real might have dropped more points in those tricky away games, potentially costing them league titles. And let's not forget about his influence off the pitch. Modrić has been a leader in the dressing room, a role model for younger players. His professionalism and winning mentality have rubbed off on the entire squad. You can't put a price on that kind of influence. Modric's lasting legacy. As Modrić enters the twilight of his career, his place in Real Madrid's Hall of Fame is secure. He's not just been a great player for the club, he's changed the way they play. His intelligence on the pitch, his incredible skills, and his leadership have been at the heart of one of the most successful periods in the club's history. Now, Modrić isn't the kind of player who grabs all the headlines. He's not banging in 30 goals a season or doing stepovers for fun. But make no mistake, he's absolutely crucial to how Real Madrid play. He's the oil in the engine, the conductor of the orchestra. Without him, the whole machine just doesn't run as smoothly. In many ways, Modrić represents how the role of the midfielder has evolved in modern football. In an era where everyone's obsessed with how fast or strong a player is, Modrić has shown that brains are just as important as brawn. He's living proof that you don't need to be built like a tank to make it in football. If you've got the skills and the smarts, you can dominate at the highest level. And Modric's influence goes way beyond Real Madrid. His performances for Croatia, especially in leading them to the 2018 World Cup final, have made him a national hero. He's inspired a whole generation of young players, showing them that with hard work and dedication, anything is possible. The final whistle. So would Real Madrid have had the same success without Modrić? It's impossible to say for sure. They're Real Madrid after all. They've got the history, the resources, and the pulling power to attract the world's best players. But Modrić isn't just any player. He's special. His unique blend of skills, his football intelligence, his leadership, it's a rare combination. Real Madrid with Modrić has been a force of nature, dominating Spanish and European football for the better part of a decade. Without him, they'd still be Real Madrid. They'd still be successful. But would they have been quite as dominant? Would they have played with the same style and control? It's hard to imagine. In the end, Real Madrid and Luka Modrić have been a perfect match. They've brought out the best in each other, and football fans around the world have been treated to some truly magical moments as a result. So the next time you're watching Real Madrid play, keep an eye out for that floppy-haired Croatian in midfield. He might not be the biggest or the flashiest player on the pitch, but make no mistake, he's the heartbeat of the team. And Real Madrid's incredible success over the past decade, a big part of that is down to the magic of Luka Modrić.